Roll dice, be nice, and stay tuned. This is the Live to Die podcast.
So as we've been listening back, because we're getting pretty close to the point where we've recorded and we're actually playing, but when we were listening back to the episode this week that was put out about Kenzen.
Oh, it's sort of like after you leveled up when you're in town.
And we went to meet him in town and we didn't meet him and we're like, fuck it, man. We got all this money. That's so cool that he didn't show up. And now our worst fears are coming. Well, at least one of Droshar says is that we got Kenzen killed.
Oh, no.
He's not killed, but I have a feeling he's about to die.
About to be killed?
Yeah. He's going to fall to his death in this pit.
Well, how do we know that Kenzen didn't bring this on himself?
How do we know Kenzen's not part of it?
Ooh, we should kill him.
He's a harassment.
It's a trap.
No, I actually realized upon the re-listen also that Val's kind of been like, whatever, I don't care about Kenzen. And she might care more now that she's also kind of Pharasma, because I forgot that he was like a follower of Pharasma that was kind of a holdout amongst the Grey Gardener situation and stuff like that.
Yeah, he ain't afraid of no gardeners. How's anyone else feeling with what they're finding in the basement here beneath the Grey Gardener Citadel?
There's a lot of magic shit down here, which is scary.
Yeah, I think there's probably going to be a lot of stuff that we're not expecting that is going to really mess us up.
Yeah, I kind of expected it to be a little more organized. It's like we walked into this middle room and it was like a little makeshift barracks. So I'm wondering what is actually going on down here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a little more, like they've officially like flipped it into whatever they wanted it to be. And instead it's just kind of still a little makeshift.
Maybe that's because we messed up their game, though.
Maybe.
I have a prediction that there's going to be something down here that's going to like poison us or really mess us up before fighting the worm. Like, I don't think this is going to let us go into that fight totally fine.
Some
like, I
level
think
drain or
something's going to
something.
mess us up.
Oh, that would be really cruel. You got to level up, enjoy it before the boss fight.
Did you say cruel or cool, James? I couldn't tell.
Dealer's choice.
You're all drained 3.
I'll drain, no pain.
Yeah.
You did bring up an interesting thing that I always like to try to mentally keep my finger on when I'm planning stories or working in Galarian, which is you talked about the state of the building and how much it had or hadn't been changed. The in-world, it's, I don't know the exact date. So like the stuff that they're currently releasing, the APs they're currently releasing are set in 4,723. I think this one takes place sort of amorphously after 4,710 before 4,723. I don't know the exact date, and depending on what we do with the second season of the show, I may bring this back a little earlier, so maybe it's temporally closer to whatever we do for the next story. But it's worth noting that like that's almost 5,000 years from the creation of Absalom. So like that's not since the beginning of time. That's basically about 5,000 years of this age of existence, which is way more than our 2,000 years of this age of our planet. And so it's always interesting to think about, because I think a lot of my concept of fantasy sort of puts it in medieval eras of like, the records we have only easily date back 1,000 or so years or 1,200 years. But it's not the case here. And so I always like to think about how technology has advanced in some areas, magic has supplanted it in others. Maybe that's why it hasn't advanced. But in some cases like this, if we're talking about saying like, oh, the Citadel's really old, we're talking, I mean, like what's this, Jane, you're my go-to person for this. What's something that'd be about 5,000 plus years old?
Like in the real world?
Yeah, in the real world.
Man.
Where are the pyramids at? Are those 5,000, more than 5,000?
I think, let's see. They're fucking old.
Yeah.
I want to say like 2000 BC.
So that's close.
So 4,000-ish.
Yeah. So I think it's...
Yeah, they're about 5,000 years old.
Wow.
So that's sort of the contemporary of what you're in. and it was built with magic. And of course, there's a lot of hand waving. It's magic. Don't worry about it. So we're not going to get into the like, how are things still intact 5,000 some years later? And we don't know I'm not going to reveal to you exactly how old this is, but it's at least 2,000 or 3,000 years old down here. And I think it's interesting to think about if something was made with magic or, plot devices to last that long, like how easy would it or would it not be to renovate this?
Aliens.
Well, I was going to say the pyramids are built by magic for real anyway, so
Right.
it's not that far off.
And there are alien answers in Pathfinder, which I always love to touch on.
Very true.
Because elves are just straight up aliens. And I think one of the APs they're working on right now in Paizo is gatewalkers, or it's not called gatekeepers, which is what it comes to mind, but it's a very approachable adventure path that you don't have to be super into to get. But it does talk about the elf gates, and it does have you go to Castrovel in that AP, which always cracks me up because playing Starfinder, like some of the Starfinder I got to play and run was some of the earlier Starfinder adventures. And one of them takes you to a university on Castrovel. And it always makes me wonder, like, well, since, it's not like Galarian is the seat of all technology and all existence, is that university that exists in Starfinder, like, does that exist when they go there in Pathfinder? And they're like, oh, yes, welcome to Castrovel. These are cars. Let's talk about institutions of education. Anyway, just something
that
that
is kind
I
of cool, though. Like, it's a cool perspective that we're basically going into like an ancient tomb at the moment.
Well, yeah, I mean, even in that room, they had like, there were tombs. I mean, there were sarcophagi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it is interesting, and it's a nice, like, it's a nice aesthetic to play with a little bit, because essentially all the classic, not all of, but many of the classic adventures, and we talk about dungeons as gamers, they're tombs. And like the original sort of, am I using the word right? Like the original pastiche of the adventurer is that you're a tomb robber. Like, and especially very early D&D plays such a high priority on gold and loot, almost as much or even more so than experience. I think early D&D, you basically gained XP sort of equivalent to the loot you get, not so much for defeating monsters, which is why a lot of the early stuff was like not so much combat as sport as it is in Pathfinder, but more like combat as guerrilla warfare, or how do you just get around it, loot the tomb and get out of there, because that's how your character would level up. So I think it is kind of fun that we are in the dungeon crawl portion of this adventure. And it is literally, at one point, it was a tomb historically. And as you saw recently with the Banshee fight, it has also more modernly been made into a tomb. I still crack up at all of your reactions like, I wonder what it means when it says spirit locked here, do not let out. It could be anything. It could even be a spirit.
That didn't end up that bad.
Nah, it worked out great for
Made
you.
some friends, actually.
So I want to go back to where we are now in this thousands-year-old tomb of some sort. You went through you came downstairs, you found yourself in an armory. There was a couple of Grey Gardener enforcers there. You go through that into a big room that has an odd, maybe serpentine or centipede or worm-like impression in the floor. And to either side,
interesting, worm-like impression in the floor.
flanked by a bunch of doors that led to, as Jared remembered very accurately, like a bunch of old previously held sarcophagi. Some that maybe still have it in there. The nameplates have been removed. You went through a couple of those doors, and you did find where they'd sort of broken down the walls between these sort of entombment rooms and created a larger living space that people had been in. You found some banshees that were locked away behind a wall that said, dead banshees do not eat. And you were like, what could it be? And it was banshees. And then you did open a door at the far end of the big worm impression room. And you went down a hallway and you listened. And I think you maybe heard something, but you weren't quite sure what it was. And you opened the door and were confronted by a deep magical darkness beyond what even the dark vision that many of you had could see through. So Jason Drosharis has dark vision and blind fading, so I feel like you have a good ability of your other senses to try to compensate. Fox, I think you have dark vision as well, or no dark vision.
I have dark vision,
Yeah,
but
dark
not
vision, couldn't see it.
greater.
And I think Val has like some abilities to sort of detect people in a room just through the sort of investigator bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So you pick up
And
that,
from my Pharasma Gnosi charm, I have life sense.
so perfect. So you kind of pick up that there are some things in this room, but it's
Things,
through-
plural?
there is a living thing, singular, but your sense for like that's odd. Maybe there's more. We'll get into that in a second. Trent, your dwarf Watson has a specific ancestry feat.
Yeah, called Defy the Darkness.
Can you actually read that to us? I always like getting into a little bit of both the rules and learning a little bit about the world through them.
Let me scroll here.
Dwarves, man. I love dwarves.
Play the drop.
Oh, yeah.
So this is an ancestry feat, 5th level feat. Using ancient dwarven methods developed to fight enemies wielding magical darkness, you've honed your dark vision and sworn not to use such magic yourself. You gain greater dark vision, enabling you to see through magical darkness even if it normally hampers dark vision, such as darkness created by a 4th level darkness spell. You can't cast spells with the darkness trait, use item activations with the darkness trait, or use any other ability with the darkness trait.
We'll have to talk sometime about the dwarven history, like in the quest for sky and stuff, because it's really cool, but I love the way that they worked that in there to mechanically balance cool. You can see through greater dark vision, but you can't sort of like be an asshole and manipulate by being like, whoop, greater dark vision. None of you can see, but I can, which is to say like my favorite warlock build from 5e of the like, I want blind sense and the ability to cast darkness. Let's go.
Yep.
So with that dark vision, you look into this room. You gave it your traditional, hello, I'm Watson.
Hello.
There you go. I think we almost need that as a drop down the line. Just clip you going, hello.
Hello.
And what you see is a yawning pit opening in the floor of this circular room before you. 5 stone platforms at first appear to almost hover above it until you can see each are anchored to the ceiling almost 30 feet above by heavy and thick chains. Each platform you can pick out bears dried bloodstains. One has a suit of broken and empty armor. The other contains a slumped figure that groans feebly, and at your hello, you hear, Watson, is that you?
So before responding at all, I want to do a perception check. I assume I get the idea that this is a darkness spell.
Yeah, I think especially given, I'm glad you got a chance to read that it's sort of not just like I can see where it's really dark, that like it's a specific training and maybe even taught in this like ancestral fashion. So yeah, I'll give you that right away, that you would recognize that you are having to sort of, your dark vision isn't just working, it's working the way that others wouldn't. I'll give you that right off the bat.
Okay. Can I do a perception check to see if this is coming from maybe a magic item?
Sure, that's totally fair. Now that'll be a secret check.
Okay.
And I have your bonus to perception over here, so I'm not going to ask for that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, well, perception is a start. If you probably also use detect magic and stuff like that.
Sure.
But as you look around the room, you see that there are a couple of things about the room. You see that there are 3 other doors. If you're coming in, it's one across from you, and then sort of 90 degrees to the left and to the right. So basically there's 4 doors, like sort of as an X coming into this circular room.
Okay.
And you do notice something else. I do think, you pick up, this is magical darkness. No big deal. And then I think, so here's what I'll say. Looking into the pit, there's something odd about it. You'd need to look closer to figure out what, but from your angle, something about the pit seems like your eyes almost struggle to focus on it.
It's a monster.
Interesting. Okay. Here's why I ask.
Okay.
I have a nice 9th level spell.
Oh, wow.
That would counteract a magic item, potentially.
Okay, sure.
But I would need to know that it's not an artifact. But I guess I wouldn't know if I was casting this.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an artifact or similar item, you automatically fail. But I guess I wouldn't know that at the time.
Okay. Possibly.
So I guess what I'm looking for is, do I see a thing that I think is emitting this? And your answer is kind of like, not really.
Okay, so you're not sure.
Okay.
Obviously, something in this room is. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
You suspect that there is probably combinations of perhaps magics and mechanics at play here. But more than that, and it's based in this room, it's one of those where, like, it'd be like me trying to look under the hood of a car and being like, I know it's an engine, but like, fuck.
That thing turns.
Yeah. Take that part to the mechanic.
Okay. So I'm going to turn back to the group.
Mhm.
I assume there's very high-level magic here that most of you can see what's going on in front of me.
Not really.
Did we hear Kenzen say, Watson, is that you?
Yes.
Is that Kenzen?
Yes, Kenton is in the room.
I'm so very
But-
upset.
It's a whole thing. There's like some platforms hanging from chains in the middle of some magical darkness. Yawning pit underneath.
Why is it so tired?
Certain death,
Sleepy pit.
essentially.
I have sense the unseen, so I can detect foes in an area. I also have life sense from the Gnosi charm. So given those two things, does Val notice that there's anybody besides Kenzen in here?
You do not pick up on other creatures.
Interesting.
So, I mean, that's cool though, right? You like that?
I don't believe
Yeah.
you. I think that's a lie.
Is there
Sure.
a way to counteract this darkness?
So I have been doing a little research on the side while all of you were kindly role-playing. So Trent, here's the deal. You
Yeah.
do pick up this darkness, I'm willing to say, between your detect magic, which is sort of your default sense otherwise. You can definitely tell that this darkness is magical. Now, the root cause of it, you don't necessarily know,
Okay.
but you do feel confident that if you wanted to try to like dispel it or cast an appropriately level light spell, you could treat the symptom, if not the cause. You could treat the darkness. You don't know that if it comes from something else, it might not come back, but you do
Okay.
feel like it may not work, but your
Yeah.
understanding of magic is you totally could try to confront the darkness aspect of whatever
Okay.
this system is.
So Watson will turn back to the room, or he'll tell the party, like,
All right, I'm going to try something here.
kind of crack his neck.
Crack.
Um,
I'm going to jump.
no.
We're all like,
He's gonna have to jump.
So
get him.
Yeah.
this is a 120-foot spell
God.
range. He's going to point at what he thinks may be the most appropriate area. This is called disjunction.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, okay, Trent. Did you just read disjunction?
Yeah, this is an uncommon abjuration primal spell.
Ooh.
Targets one magic item. Crackling energy disjoins the target. You attempt to counteract it. If you succeed, it's deactivated for 1 week. On a critical
Holy
success,
shit.
it's destroyed. If it's an artifact or similar item, you automatically fail.
Okay.
interesting.
Ooh. So is there a counteract check?
I have to look at what that rule is.
New drop. That we don't know.
Nothing says Pathfinder like nesting a rule in a rule. And also there are several more. Like that's an uncommon spell, which means at some point Watson learned that more than just through his druidic tradition, but through study or research. It's a lot of cool shit. So a counteract check, from what I understand from playing with our GM aide Rory over the years, is basically going to be a spellcaster check.
The caster's against the caster's DC.
Yeah, now I have the DC for this already set up because this is Paizo and
This, getting a lot of mileage out of this
yeah,
one today.
we really are. Fortunately, it's a short one, but I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum there for now. So I know what the DC is. You're going to roll, I believe it's your basically spellcaster proficiency bonus. And you're going to try to meet or exceed the DC. And that's going to be, you know, your proficiency plus your associated attribute plus your level.
Yeah, so I have, unfortunately, it does not really show me a,
Yeah, we've always
What
talked
that might
about how,
be.
unfortunately, it doesn't list this. I'm guessing it will be very similar to
To my other like DCs.
not your DCs, but like your spell attack bonuses. It'll be almost the same, I guess.
Okay.
Because it won't be plus 10. But yeah, otherwise, actually, any of your spell DCs minus 10 is most likely what that bonus is.
So let me check.
Because you're what, 17th level now as a group? Is
So
that
I
right?
think plus 30 then.
Jesus. Fuck.
18th, I think.
You're 18th level.
18th level.
Mm-hmm.
So my range strike, the first one says plus 30.
That seems ridiculous. 1 second. We're just flat out pausing it so we can
Okay.
check the rules. Okay, so
We determined that I automatically get it.
Yep.
Wow.
Perfect.
That's what he said.
Love it when that
All
happens.
4 of us heard it.
egg on my face, it is in fact 30. At this high level, there's just like your ability modifier is plus fucking 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're whatever.
I'm
and-
basically a god.
All
Watson
right.
has gone full
So just a quick reminder, because this is,
narcissist.
I think the group accurately has deduced that this is probably an important check
Yes.
if you have a whole weird magical room. How many patches are floating around?
9,
3 total.
I have 2.
You have
yeah.
one.
3.
Okay, 3 total.
I would generally recommend that if you have one, you keep at least one for death saves.
What's the worst that could
Oh,
happen?
yeah.
All right, Trent. Big moment.
Oh no.
What are you rolling with today?
This is my gold and black die here, which is one of the ones that if you threw this at a person, it would do immense harm to them. It's very heavy.
It's like a sling bullet ready
Yeah,
to go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just speaking of patches, really quick, I just wanted to shout out the one that Jared has because it's one of my new favorite patches that was gifted to us by James and I's amazing brother-in-law Adam. But it's Bob Ross and it says no mistakes, just happy accidents.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Love
we'll have to
that
throw
one.
that on the social. Awesome.
All right, do it.
Okay, here we go.
You got a plus 30, so the math's easy. Oh, Trent's making a good expression.
It's on the low end.
Okay.
That's a 39.
So I feel like I want to give you some indication. I won't give you the full result of what happened, but I actually, so on some Twitter recommendations, recommended a specific Paizo genre, like a specific in-world book that I was reading while prepping for another adventure. And one of the characters is a spellcaster, and they talk a little bit about how he casts spells. He talks about arranging the patterns and feelings in his mind that bring a spell together. So I'm imagining you're doing whatever your version of that is. You're bringing together the pieces of the rune, and you can feel it catching but beginning to slip. You don't feel like you have it on lock, but you don't feel like it's going to blow back on you.
Okay, I'm gonna patch it.
All right, we're turning in the patch from Jason's kids.
That's right.
Yes.
The
Patch it,
really
baby.
cool Colorado patch with the weird eye on
They
it.
brought
kids.
it to us while we were recording one day,
That's true.
which was
Yeah,
very
that's
sweet.
awesome.
Okay. One last shot here. Let me retry this.
Those things thump
That's
so
much
loud.
worse.
Oh,
That is
God.
a 34.
Fuck.
Oh, Jared's waving. No
Okay.
mistakes,
Oh,
just happy
we're
accidents.
really
You gotta play
invested.
the drop for this one though.
Here we go.
Crap. I got to make sure this one rolls instead of
Just
like flops.
On the whole table.
Oh,
You
that's
just
a-
shoot it.
All right, here we go. Oh, God, that was my phone.
Big roll. Big roll.
Oh, that's so much better.
Yeah, let's
that
do
is
it. Nice.
That's a 47.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
So we
That
talked
was a happy
about, I
accident.
can't remember if, you know what? Yeah, that's,
I'll give it to you honestly now. instead
It
of trying
didn't
to
work
read
No
it.
before
mistakes.
because we didn't play the sound.
True.
That's
I will
right.
say that wasn't a mistake. That was a happy accident. Jesus Christ.
I feel like what happened there in game is that Watson starts to try to cast a spell, but he like loses his footing. So Val like reaches out and like taps him, and then he goes overcorrects, and then Fox has to like grab him on the other
Recorrect him
side.
again.
We're like steadying him, and you're like, oh, okay, I
That's
got
when
it.
it aligns exactly.
So this, it's not a critical success.
Okay.
You, and you almost, I can imagine you sort of forcing the darkness back, and the room comes into light.
Wow.
Amazing.
And all of you
Well
can see
done.
this.
No, that's not what I meant to
Yeah.
do.
Now, I am going to say,
Nice job, Watson.
yeah,
Oh,
that,
yes, thank you.
Very clutch.
that was quite a spell to have prepared.
I haven't done this in many years.
I believe that's as a 9th level spell that I just got on the level up.
Yeah, because you talked to me, I think, about taking an uncommon spell, and we chatted a little bit about, like, are you cool with that one? I'm like, yeah, from where you're at, I like that. Okay, so here's the deal. You know, you all can see this room. And there's something, all sorts of things are odd about this room. Now, Jane, remember that you rolled trying to figure something out and couldn't see?
Uh huh.
Now that you can see, I saved that roll.
Okay.
You are able to pick out something odd about this room, and with your check, you can see that the magical darkness is a part of a complex magical and mechanical trap wired into the entire room itself.
Oh, God.
With the roll you got, you pick up on 3 elements. Well, 4. 1, it creates magical darkness, which has been solved. 2, that pit that you're standing next to doesn't seem to have a bottom. Like it's literally you're picking up on it's probably some variation on a relatively low-level trap called the bottomless pit. And then 2 other things. You think once the trap is triggered, which you suspect the triggering has to do with affecting the pit or the platforms.
Of course.
You think 2 things will happen. You don't have specifics, but you see some odd marks in the way the room is set up that lead you to believe the room might rotate.
Oh.
Potentially moving the doors away from the hallways.
Oh.
Fantastic.
You also feel like something, and this is you piecing together like, interesting, look at those blood splatters that you can now see on the platforms and that suit of armor with a big slice through it. You think when the trap is activated, not only will the room lock everyone inside it, you think something will attack on the platforms and potentially on the walkway or where you are as well.
Cool.
Like a big old blender.
I believe we should.
We are in a
We're
blender.
in a blender.
We should jump to that one with the dead body on it.
Fox, you need to fly
Dun, dun,
and
dun, dun.
pick up
Do-
Kenzen and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But I don't know what triggers the trap. I would assume it's like going forward.
So because you detected the trap, which is fucking wild.
Can it be disabled? Like the way a normal trap is disabled?
Wait, actually, one more additional thing. Jane, what is your training in Okay. No, that's just its rating, I think. We'll
She's
leave
an
that.
art history major.
So, Jane, you and what is everyone's training level and perception real quick? Once this has all been pointed out.
Master.
Okay. That's fine.
Legendary.
Perfect. Okay, so that's 'cause
Expert.
this explicit. I was like, oh shit, did I accidentally give this away? But this requires legendary to even notice.
Oh, wow.
So because you have that
Cool.
threshold, you can identify, not perfectly, but I'll give you the abstracts of the trigger.
Okay.
You think if anything enters into, you have enough history with the world to know that like a bottomless pit trap isn't literally a bottomless pit. It's a magical creation of an endless space. So it's, in my mind, it sort of comes active when something enters it. It sort of creates the space for it to fall around the thing that exists there. It doesn't just, create, it doesn't just perpetually have a bottomless existence. So you think once that magic kicks in, that could be a potential trigger. And then it's a classic for a reason, but all of these platforms are suspended by chains. So probably if something disturbs a platform, you're going to have an Indiana Jones style
Right.
thing.
So we just need to get something comparably sized to the bird.
Kenzen, how much do you weigh?
Yeah.
That's very rude.
Count your hollow bones.
I think Val would look at Watson and say, "Can you do the maze thing?"
I'm not a minotaur.
That's you, isn't it?
Can you do the maze thing? She looks at Fox.
What's the maze thing?
What are you talking about?
Where you
Can
cast them in
anybody
a maze?
send the
No.
bird to a maze? Come on, I've been around spellcasters who have done this before.
Oh, I
can't
yes,
maze.
I remember this in my youth.
Can
yes.
you dimension step them or anything like that?
I'm looking at Dimension Door.
If we move him off the platform, if we do anything to these platforms, if anything falls into the pit, I'm pretty sure we're going to turn this into a giant locked blender.
Well, here's
Wanna
my
put
suggestion.
my characters in a blender, watch them spin round till we roll up some new ones.
Nope.
Fox, I have the ability to fly if necessary, and I believe that you do too from the sight of your giant
The
wings.
enormous wings on my back,
Because
yes.
you have wings, I think you fly.
We could potentially perhaps fly over and attempt to unhook him from this mechanism and fly him back.
He's chained down?
If
Yeah,
you
we
take
could-
him off,
He's tied down. On
if
a
you take him
platform.
off, the trap will trigger.
Oh, dear me.
We're going to need to replace him immediately with something comparably heavy.
Well, Fox, I think
Well,
you've been sacrificed.
There's some bodies in the other room.
Yeah. Joe
Oh,
walks
that's
in
true.
takes a quick scan
That's
of
a much
bodies
better
that are
answer.
laying in the former rooms.
Yeah, is there
Thanks.
anybody that's like the same
Yeah.
general weight as the bird?
Any bird folks in there?
No, there were no bird folks in there.
No.
'Cause then we
What
can
are the chances?
account for the anatomy and everything too. I think the hollow bones is really going to fuck us in the end.
I love this answer, by the way.
Could just be
That we're just like, clearly all we have to do
could just
is
I saw-
switch the
Indiana
bodies
Jones
at
it.
the exact right
Yeah, we're
time.
Indiana
I saw the
Jones did it with a
trailer
body.
for I saw the trailer for the new Indiana Jones movie last night, and so I'm kind of like in that mentality. Also, we're literally
Yeah.
going through a tomb right now. It seems like it's the only path forward. We get Fox and Watson to together fly a new body over there and do the like
So here's
switcheroo.
Val and Dro will stay back and check to see if it works out.
Yeah.
Why don't
Yeah.
I go out of this hallway? Because I
Yes.
think the
Someone-
hallway will kill you as well.
If it
Someone
doesn't,
must
we'll
live to tell
someone
your
about
story.
it. Yeah.
so here's what I'll say. This is a trap.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm giving anything away at this point to say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
In 2nd edition Pathfinder, traps often have multiple ways to resolve them. On top of there just being like, if all of you come up with a cool story excuse how to do it, you're there. So what I'll say is, you feel like from the way your analysis of this, Val, and didn't you even specifically take some trap shit when you leveled up?
I did take some trap shit. I have a
Some
new
good trap
feat.
shit.
Trap shit. I have a new feat called Wary Disarmament, and it's really if I trigger a device or set off a trap while disarming it, I gain a +2 to my AC and saving throw against the device or trap.
That's
I mean-
a good feat. How did you decide to?
I'm just so good at
Take that?
Pathfinder
Oh.
Yeah.
that I picked this feat all by myself
That's what it is.
without any help from Jason.
Yeah, totally.
So what I'll say is you sort of pick up on what is probably two primary avenues of obvious mechanical avenues of interacting with it. And again, you come up with something else. Arcana checks, Arcana, whatever. You feel like there's probably a way to mess with the magic of how this works. Or a thievery check. And I think thievery could be a lot of things. You could probably try to disable the platforms in some way or another. And I think thievery is left pretty vague. So what I'm hearing you describe of trying to do the Indiana Jones weight swap does to me sound like a thievery check.
Okay.
Now it's going to be difficult because I don't know if you can fly for you to do that.
I can't fly. I'm pretty good at thievery, but probably someone else is too. I will say that before we do that, I think Val wants to kind of like say like, Kenzin, what are you doing here? How did you get here? Or do you know how we can turn this trap off?
How did you get here? Nobody's supposed to be.
This is the musical episode. Can you imagine though, like being terrified, trapped, chained to a giant killing machine? You're like, oh my god, my friends are here, and they're like singing, being like, no, how much do you weigh? I'm
Do
asking
we
for
do we all
us.
have to do a song about Kenzin? Because mine would be like, where did you come from? Where did you go? How did you get here? Kenzin the bird.
Ken's a death trap.
Kenzin Navarmo?
I think it would actually be worse if you're laying there like, help me. And your friends are like, all right, how are we going to do this? Dump a dead body on the same thing and hope it works out? All right,
Hope
cool.
for the best.
Sounds good.
So I can't
We
get
think
over
if
that
you
image.
take him off the thing, it spins and he's locked in here, and he's like, no.
Probably blades of some kind.
I don't. And you can like hear like he's very weak. I
Aw.
don't remember how I got here. I just remember bits and pieces. Someone talking about a ritual and groups what mustn't be disturbed.
Groups?
Yes, they said that it was for the Great Worm, and if they were disturbed, it would not be able to enact its plans for God. But I think I might have misheard. Maybe it was Great One, not Great Worm.
It's definitely warm.
Definitely worm.
Oh.
Val would kind of just look at everybody and be like, I just don't know what they would want from him. Why wouldn't they just kill him? Why would they put him in here? Regardless, let's fix this trap.
So, how are you going to do it?
I've got a +24 thievery. I'm not sure that's going to
Ooh.
do it though.
I have a plus 29, but I'm also scared to roll
I
it.
could hold
our
you
thievery
by
by,
your
explaining?
belt and fly you up so
yeah,
you can
like
have hands
could
free.
I could Fox hold on to me, fly me over there?
Okay, well, really important additional question here.
Over there.
It's called
What is your
aid.
training?
All right,
What is your training
Strawberry.
level in thievery?
master.
Okay. What about for you?
I'm just trained.
Oh, just trained.
With
Yeah.
a 24? Wow.
Yeah.
And you're only a 29
Yeah,
as a master?
yeah.
Okay.
Armor. Sucks.
Also, I think Dex is not as high as intelligence for
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it's technically possible with a 29.
Watson, I think that you should be able to disable it with magic as well.
Okay.
Oh yeah. What's your Arcana?
Uh,
Cana.
Can I intimidate it?
I'm
You can
only
try.
an expert in Arcana.
Hmm.
Uh,
What's everyone else in Arcana?
not that
Untrained.
Nice.
Trained.
trained.
So it's that bonus. Yeah. Well, it
25.
sounds like thievery it's gonna be.
I don't want this to be on me.
How many patches are still
You guys
floating
are going to
around?
be such assholes if I don't roll well.
Here's the other thing. I mean,
Can we aid her?
is he in a cage or is he just on the platform?
He's just on a
Tied
platform.
down.
Here's what we'll do.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear this.
We're going to try and disable the trap. If we can tell that it seems to not be working, I will jump in, fly in, grab him, throw him on, and I will die.
No.
Chicks.
Watson,
It's
this doesn't make
unnecessary.
any
Oh.
sense.
No, we're not
But-
going to do that.
What we could do
Look, there are worse deaths than falling for all eternity.
if we
You'll probably also get chopped by some sort of blade, for the record.
Oh,
Look
well,
at the
you
blood
didn't
stains.
mention that.
if we could get Kinzen out and I can be on the platform, if I can be the counterweight, I can dimension door out of here.
Oh.
Genius.
And then even if the trap goes off, we're free.
If we trigger the trap,
But
the
we
doors
also
will lock.
We have to decide what direction we're going also.
Should we roll to see who gets stuck in here if that, like, draws straws?
Well, it sounds like Fox isn't even a problem.
Yeah.
Can you just
That's true.
dimension door quickly with Kenzen?
I can't carry anyone with me.
You can only go yourself.
So
Just
I can
myself.
fly in and grab him, and you can jump onto the platform at the exact right moment.
Right.
And then how do you get out?
Well, you can just fly out then.
Oh,
Yeah, fly out the
literally
door.
a wing and a prayer.
You only have to go 10 feet to get to the hallway. So as long as the hallways don't spin too, like, we're probably okay.
I can go up to a mile.
I think we
Can-
should do that. I don't know what it's
Hot
going to
damn.
take.
Right?
I don't know what it's going to take to disable this trap, but it seems like something that might be beyond our abilities.
James, can I do some type of check to see if the hallways are attached to like
what?
the fact that you said that it spins, it like moves?
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that I could do to see if the hallway that we're standing in is a part of that?
Pretty simple. What's to point out? You feel like the room rotates, but the hallways stay in place.
Okay, cool. So
I
yeah, if we
wouldn't-
can
I
get out the
wouldn't-
hallway or even go straight across, I mean, you would be separated from us for sure, but
But we could probably get back out the door we came in if we're staying in the hallway.
and we assume that hallway to the south that we're not in,
Is the south door.
yeah, the southwestern is the door that's on the other side of where we just killed everybody.
It's as good as plan as any. It's as good a plan as any.
Yep, I say that we just go for it.
Can we roll aids for these guys just to try to, like,
Encourage us.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
because-
say like here's the best timing to do it. Like, you
Well,
have
yeah,
this amount of
especially
time.
with Val having been like, "Oh, this is how the trap works." Could I use like thievery to aid them?
Sure. No, it's going to be a thievery check to do what you're talking about at all.
Oh,
Ooh, to like swap
Yes.
them.
That
But
makes
you
it
have a
tricky.
decent thievery.
it's okay.
You
also,
have
the
you.
DM is shaking his head now.
Well, because
so.
what I'll say is you have to be, and I'll just kind of give you this a little so we don't spend too much time running around it. You have to be a master in thievery to attempt this check.
Ah,
Mm.
Rick.
To attempt the like removing
can aid
him,
you.
essentially.
Yeah.
But I
Interacting
can't
with this. I think.
dimension door.
But if we disable
away.
the
But we
platform,
could.
then we don't need to.
Yeah, I guess the only option is to try to disable it.
All right.
Now that would be one. If you like, you feel like you can attempt to disable platforms individually, and if you were to disable the Kenzen platform,
Right.
you could then probably just yeet him off there.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe
and
that's
there's
the end.
literally
Off of
only
there?
one patch in circulation right now.
You said yours is a 29. I have a 28 in Arcana.
You have to be a
But-
You have to be
legendary
a-
in
but I'm
Arcana to
only
attack.
expert.
Yeah.
I'll aid you
All
in
right.
the thievery check.
What about
Alright.
occult? No, it's master as well.
I'll stand here and watch.
Okay, so does anyone else have any other things they're going to do to help aid or otherwise? I'll allow. Obviously, I'll allow a thievery aid, but if people want to, they can attempt to aid with other skills. Now, I might increase the DC.
We could aid with that Arcana.
Yes, perhaps
Someone's
that
going to have to
helps.
fly me over there.
I got you.
So I think that's so that you will definitely be using your thievery to fly carefully,
Yeah.
carrying Val.
So Dro's the only one in the hallway?
Watson's probably in the hallway.
Can I
Yeah.
use
Okay.
something else that I have higher?
Do you want to use maybe like athletics or something
Yeah.
for the flying
That's
her over there?
trained too.
This absolutely
The only
is
thing I could do is stealth.
a nightmare, by the way.
I'll
Getting
allow
flown
stealth.
over a giant bottomless pit to try to disable a trap that's probably going to kill you.
So-
I think stealth feels appropriate because you're trying to not disturb the platforms. Like you don't want to be perceived physically by
Also,
this trap.
thank God Fox is a lawful good character because if not, I feel like the trap would go off and he would just dimension door out and I would just fall down the pit.
Oh, I'm not lawful good.
Oh, God damn it. Good thing Jared is nice.
It's probably a better chance of that.
All right, so you're going to aid with stealth. Other folks aiding with anything.
Thievery.
And tell me, I don't need like a big description, but tell me basically how you're going to aid because I'll adjust the DC based on how ridiculous or appropriate I feel like it is.
I would say that Drosharis kind of gives tips on how the trap is constructed and maybe gives some pointers on how quickly it reacts or how any kind of information that I've gleaned from this is kind of the mechanics of how this trap works.
Okay, thievery seems pretty on
Yeah.
point. You have a different perspective. I almost imagine it's like when you're rock climbing and someone else is like
Yeah.
6 inches above your left hand.
Yeah.
You can reach it, sort of thing.
And Watson would like to try to aid with Arcana.
And what are you in Arcana? Trained
Expert.
Okay. So I always like to roll the aids first so we know all the bonuses going into the big roll. I have the aid rules.
I hate this so much.
I just pulled the aid rules up too.
Yeah, the aid rules are pretty straightforward. So who wants to aid first? Who's feeling high?
I'll go first.
I got a 7 and then I was like, that's low. And it's a D12.
Oh. All right, so Jared, you're going to go
Jason's
first.
got it.
Jason's rolling first. Jason's rolling thievery. What's your training in thievery, Jason?
I am trained in thievery.
Okay. I'm going to say for you, thievery, it's exactly on par. You're just talking about, you see, DC 20, which is the standard DC for an aid.
Plus 22, so 31.
Okay, so that's a crit. So now here's the thing: it's circumstance bonuses, so they don't stack multiple times, but basically
Mhm.
be the highest one will count towards Jane.
Gotcha.
So I feel like because it says here, you have an ally is about to aid. You can try to help an ally with a task. To use this action, you must first prepare to help. You must explain to the GM how you're doing it, and you can determine it. When you use your aid action, attempt a skill check or an attack roll decided by the GM. They talk about the DC here. The GM can add any relevant traits to your preparatory action or to your aid, and even allow you to aid checks other than skill checks and attack rolls. So right now, +2 is the highest that's on the table for Jane. All right, Jared, you're going with stealth.
Got you. 40.
Oh, Jesus. And what's your training in stealth?
Legendary.
Nice.
So that's a +4 that's on the table to Jane, so I'm guessing she's going to take that. Trent, do you even want to attempt? You literally can't beat that. You could only hurt it.
Yeah, no, Watson would be like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I believe your advice is probably better than any I could offer.
Now, that being said, Trent, have you hit Val? No, I'm not going to help. Never mind.
Help! Help!
Because you cast it all the time. Have you hit Val with a guidance today?
Yeah.
no,
Yes.
probably.
I think that you and I have gotten guidance in the
Yeah,
other
I
room.
think that's right. I think
Okay.
so.
Well, thank you for being honest. You know what, Trent? That's a nice honesty moment.
Hey.
No, no mistakes, just happy accidents. Take a patch. All right, Jane. So, what's your current with some awesome Fox assistance?
33.
And for the record, I was going to bring that DC up to like 30 because you're flying. It's a little harder, but you crushed that. So you're rocking what you said, a 33 to this.
Yes.
Ooh.
+4? Or is that with the
That's
+4?
with the +4.
Oh boy. How about we patch that?
No. That's what I add.
That's the plus.
No, that like I have a
That's her
plus
plus.
33 to whatever I do roll.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying that was the result of your
roll.
roll.
No.
I was like, how?
No,
Yeah.
I just have plus 33.
She rolled a
Okay.
0.
Whatever.
It's only Jane's die.
Right.
Has a
Okay,
0 on it.
wait.
we don't need that energy right now, Jason.
Make sure it's a D20, all right?
Finger on the button.
Yeah, this is a great
Oh
time.
my god!
Don't you
feel
take
like-
that shit, Jane.
I
Come
feel
on.
like you're making this shit up that it can like only be me just so you can play this drop.
That, in fact, was the perfect time for that drop.
Okay, should I roll it in the tray or on the
Tray.
table?
Tray.
Tray.
There
All
we
right.
go. Big roll. It bounces
It
out of the
fell out
tray.
of the tray.
So she said
Shut
in the
the
tray, so it doesn't count.
No. Patch. Patch.
Well, no, Jason's right.
no.
I've always played with tray rules, which is if you call it in the tray and it bounces out, it does. Anyone who's ever played Infinity against me knows I start every match with like, hey, I'm going to use this dice tray. If it bounces out, I'm not going to count it.
For the listeners,
Wow.
That was a one.
Yeah, that was a 1.
I didn't
my
roll that.
God.
The tray rolled it. It bounced it out. All
In the
right.
tray, Jane.
Ready? And
Okay.
Better.
What's it on the die?
a 5.
So now you're turning that patch in?
Now I'm turning the patch.
All right.
Kenson's dead.
Okay.
Yes.
That we will
All right.
take. Worthy
Yes.
patch total. That is 51.
Let's go.
Oh.
So Fox is like straining. I imagine like you can all see like the veins along your wings and your neck, like trying to perfectly just like hover, flutter the wings to keep Val up there. Val, talk me through kind of what you imagine this looks like a little bit.
Like a fucking nightmare. No, Val is, I don't know. Fox is probably holding her like by the cloak so she can like hang down and try to.
Oh shit.
I mean, like, are
What's
there
the
just
break
chains?
DC on your cloak?
But it's fine. The cloak is holding.
It's
And I think she has like thieves' tools or something. So I think she just starts like tinkering, is like nervous, but her hands don't shake. She's done worse. And yeah, she does do it?
So you're right in the middle of some fucking Mission Impossible shit.
Yeah.
You're like hovering, trying not to have your body entering the field of the bottomless pit, not to touch the platform, and you continue tinkering. You kind of pull your hand away, and you feel like you have it.
Okay, I think it's done.
Okay, we'll leave now.
All right.
Can
Sounds
someone
good.
come
We'll
get
meet
the
you in other
bird,
room.
please?
I'll drop you back down in the hallway and I'll go get Kenson.
Now, you get over there. You're looking at it a little closer now. Kenzen is manacled to this platform.
Okay.
Val comes back to
I've
tinker
got-
off the manacles.
Can train. Yeah, I'm trained in thievery. Is that good enough to do these manacles? Do they seem magical?
No, they seem very well made.
Okay, I can try.
Yeah.
I'll try real quick.
Now, here's the question: are you trying while you're hovering, or are you
Yes,
going
of
to land on the
course.
platform
No,
and try
I'm
to
gonna
disarm
hover.
them? Okay,
It's a good
Okay.
question.
thank you, Trent.
Thanks for giving me that option. What is it that I say?
So you know what? I do want you to take. Oh, what do we got? A -1 on this, just for like trying to hover and do this well. Because like Val wasn't hovering, you were hovering for Val. You're trying to do both.
I got a 37.
I feel like you're not close, but not horrible. Like you're trying. They're good locks.
All right,
Does this hit him?
Fox,
this is above my pay
don't
grade.
hurt
I
yourself.
may have an answer that may harm Kinson a lot.
Can you
but
just break them off?
may
Hit it with your big sword.
Okay,
Athletics.
I don't have a sword, but I'll
See if
hit
you
it
can
with-
Hit it with
Athletics
your
them off.
big hand.
Can you try to like pry him off with your pole arm, like create a lever and bank
Sure.
with athletics?
Val
athletics
just shoots at the manacles.
is only slightly better.
GM, is that good? Is that cool?
Oh, athletics.
All right,
Is that higher?
just by 1.
Hey, you got a
You
-1.
get your full
So.
bonus. No, just full bonus on this
Okay.
because you can try to use your weight against. Now, what I say is, if Jane at all failed, or there's anything in here about exerting a lot of force on a platform, you're clearly doing that. So what you roll?
37.
And you can feel the metal giving a little, but it doesn't quite break. Now, interestingly enough, the platform doesn't budge. Val, you feel like you did a very good job on disabling
Fox,
that
I think
platform.
you can land on the platform.
Okay. And he dies.
This is a
They all get
trick.
sucked down
Don't
the
blame
hole.
me
I
if
guess
you
I was
get
wrong.
your head chopped off.
Dimension step before you fall into the bottomless pit.
Yeah, I mean, at least I'll get out. I'm trying to look and see if I have any
Thank
magic
you
that's useful.
for
but I
what
don't
you are
think I do.
trying, but don't put yourself in harm's way for me.
Oh, okay, we'll leave.
That's what heroes
Well, if you insist.
We'll get you out of here, Kenzen. Don't worry.
You are a kind and gentle knight.
Isn't Fox's like backstory freeing enslaved people?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
And you're only trained in thievery, Fox.
is. Hey, I gotta wear a lot of hats when I'm under when I'm in disguise under cover. I'm not having much luck.
Okay, bring me back.
All right. This is embarrassing, but all right.
So if I'm flying back over there, can I just shoot at the manacles and break them off? Like, are they like chained to the platform or something?
Yeah, they are.
You have a crazy thievery, though.
Do you have an ability to?
There's a cool gunslinger feat that allows you to pick
Oh,
locks
really?
with-
To pick locks by just shooting them?
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Oh, okay. I was like, shit. Did you take that? Because
That'd be
yes,
dope.
you
That
can
would have
just.
been cool though.
I can try to heat the metal.
No, it's Watson.
No,
why
Watson.
are you always trying to
No.
heat metal? Oh my god, she's all annoyed and she just starts
All right, I'll aid. I'll
Have you
aid.
done
tinkering
it?
with the manacles.
It's
All right.
very fun.
Roll your aid first, Jared.
32.
So you get a +1 on this, Jane. Or +2.
Okay. Wait.
Tick, tick,
What's
tick,
my
tick, tick,
actual
tick.
bonus? And then
Your thievery.
+2, you said?
Yep.
41.
So you get one of the 5 tumblers on the lock.
We're doing this 5 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'll continue to aid.
You know what? For the sake of our listeners.
I just want to say something.
Okay.
I just rolled, we rolled these 5 checks off air.
And we did that because I thought, well, like if there's failures, it might take a while.
Okay.
But no.
5 straight successes,
True.
one of which was almost a crit. It was an 11, a 15, a 12, an 18, and another 11, which, by the way, haters, is all pretty good rolls. 5 back to back.
There's no actual record of this.
I know. I'm
was
so mad.
unrecorded.
It's like I think it was all a conspiracy that James was like, let's just pause so no one knows that Jane can roll good.
It's
be
not
fair-
it's not the worst assumption though to assume
Okay.
it's gonna be a while.
Well, it was actually very quick and expedient.
I will say 5 checks on like getting manacles off
Yeah.
is a great opportunity for something to go wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of checks you have to roll.
Yeah.
That-
And with the aid of Fox on each one, you successfully aided me every
Yep.
single time. So we're killing it over here.
And then that's where that pause came from because that wasn't all like, well, Jane sucks at dice. It was much more that like, regardless of dice luck, 10 total dice rolls, one of
Yeah.
them was likely to go bad. And none of them did, which was remarkable.
Yeah.
It wasn't the world's highest DC. It's not low, but especially with aiding, it was a little more doable. But like you did great. It went quickly. So you hit all 5 tumblers. The other thing I will say that I like is them making a lot of unlock checks, multiple things means that in combat, it's kind of a really cool
Yeah.
tension of like if you
Yeah.
need to use your actions to make a few checks, it isn't just like I run over, made the check, it's unlocked. There's the like defend the fucking person, unlocking the lock. They need to get these, and it creates a really cool tension. Out of combat, I'd much rather quickly pause,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
the checks, see how many it took. If you get crit fails, then like things could happen. Or you could break picks. Most people have like 5 replacement picks ready to go or whatever. So you unlock Kenzen, get him all freed. What's next for the group?
Does Fox successfully fly Kenzen and I back to the hallway?
Yeah, Fox is strong enough, and it's really only jumping like 5 feet with wing assist.
Wait, can Kenzen fly?
No, Kenzen cannot fly.
Okay.
He's a flightless bird.
Well, they don't have
He's
wings.
a puffin.
I think he's actually a crow or a raven, but
Did you
Puffin
know
don't fly?
that the porgs in Star Wars are actually just there because they couldn't
They
get
couldn't
rid
remove
of the puffins?
puffins.
Did we talk about this already?
No, I've just read it before because they're like endangered, and so
Yeah.
they weren't allowed to like move them off the island where they filmed
So
that.
they covered them
scene.
with another
That's
flightless
awesome.
bird
That's
They're like,
hilarious.
all right, I guess we'll just turn you into a space puffin.
that both enraged and created new lovable characters.
Yeah.
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 wait, did some people not like them?
Yes.
Bro, it's Star Wars. A
As
lot
soon
of
as it-
people
yeah.
didn't-
As soon as it
a
came
lot of
out,
people didn't like something
Yeah.
about it.
as soon as the movie came out, there was like a contingent of those nerds
Yeah.
who were like,
Actually, these would not have existed in the Star Wars universe, and this is completely not good that they put them in the movies.
They bitched about a brick in Andor. How
That's
unlikely
right.
it is to have bricks and screws in a galaxy far away a long time ago. Like, come on.
You know what? Andor was fun. Porgs were
great.
cute, and let's enjoy our fucking selves.
Also,
Yeah.
like having not always been into like nerdy hobbies and stuff, when things get really in the weeds like that, I'm just always like, because magic,
Yeah.
or like because
Yeah.
space.
This is a
That's
fantasy
why
setting.
anything they want to exist exists, okay? Because
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Fuck you, Star Wars fans.
but also thank you for listening.
Yeah, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've read like 7 Star Wars books.
You just texted me 2 days ago, like, bro, have you read this book?
I've actually, like, within the last couple of years, I mean, this is like such an aside, but I had never actually seen Star Wars until I was like 23 because my mom is like a gigantic Trekkie. So Star Wars was like a no-no growing up. She was like, this is trash. We watched Star Trek only. So I've seen like all of the original Star Trek, all of Next Gen. You know, I like had a pair of Spock ears, stuff like that. For costumes, but
Of course, not anything else.
but Star Wars was just not a factor in my life for a long time. But I actually do enjoy it now, having watched all of it.
Great dialogue, like how sand gets everywhere.
So I'm reading a book.
Uh-huh.
He complains about sand all the time. And it's perfect. It's perfect.
It's like backwards
Yeah, he's
justification.
like, it gets everywhere. It's like, yeah, it does, Anakin. It really does.
I will say though, like I remember my dad getting back from deployments with like that sand that's so fine, it's like talcum powder.
Yeah.
And it was everywhere. There was
Yeah.
whole stuff he got back, and I think a part of it was he got back from a deployment. And he was like, I never want to see that shit again.
Yeah.
And like there was stuff he just threw away. He's like, yeah, we're not getting it out, and I don't care about it that much.
My uniforms would smell like the stuff that they clean the air with on a submarine, which is awful smelling.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
it doesn't smell awful. The success of unlocking those manacles without a single failure.
Yeah.
Thank
so you
you.
lift Kenzen Devarmo up and off there, and he's fucking exhausted using his whole body. He's like barely able to stand. You gather he's probably been down here for a couple days,
Is he
lashed to
wounded?
these platforms. Not so much that you need to stitch anything up. He's malnourished. He's probably taken a beating or two, but he's
Gotcha.
Oh, here.
he's not going to die if you don't treat him.
I have a decanter of endless water. I'll give him
Oh.
like something to drink.
Oh, very nice.
Thank
Yeah, some rations. I'll give him one of my rations. Some of my rations.
And this means so much to me. You have been so kind. I cannot wait to get back to my shop and see it all intact in one piece.
Definitely is.
You might, maybe
Droshar's tried to take all the money. I don't know. He's just like that. I'm so sorry.
take a circuitous route back to your home.
A circus route?
Yeah,
Don't go to the
sure.
circus.
Yeah, all right.
I do love a circus.
Perhaps we should take him back. Make sure he's safe.
What if I just send a message to Nelibit and have him come get Kenzen? You're a follower of Phrasma, right?
I am.
I think
but
that-
the lady's presence has not been strong here in Galt. Well, at least here in town. For
I've recently met
years.
a priest of Phrasma who is kind of terrible, but he could probably get you safely back to your home while we deal with whatever we have to deal with down here.
There is a Pharasnan priest in Litron.
Regrettably, yes.
What is their name?
Nelibit.
That sounds like a strong name.
Very good.
It's a name.
Oh,
It's a great man. Kidding.
He's kind of obnoxious, but hopefully you're just out of it enough to not really retain any of the conversation on your way back.
well, I do not want to have to face off with someone evil.
No.
Oh man.
That one really got Trent.
man.
Our nation could use treasures like these priests.
That was a
That was a
stretch.
stretch.
Yeah, I'm done. I will find this Pharasnan of which you speak.
I think,
Val is also pretending to be a Pharasman gunslinger, I believe.
well, she did talk to me. At first I
talked
was
to
pretending.
you?
Don't worry about it.
Oh.
Pharasma did. Tell him.
Okay.
Tell him.
So,
It's really cool.
what are you even doing down here?
Story time.
Doodly doodly doodly. So, what do you
I
wanna
may
do
or
with
may
Kenzen?
not be touched by a god. No big deal. So, the Nosy charm
Yeah.
casts sending.
Mm-hmm. How many
Is
times
that
a day?
It's only once per day, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I've done it.
Actually, I don't think you have today. I think you tried to
I think
use
I
it.
did Oh, yeah, because I think it was before we rested.
That's right. You tried to use it to get to Kenzin, but you didn't hear a response.
Yeah.
No, you used it today. That was today.
We did try to contact you. No, I don't think so, because I think that was when we were, like, because I also said that I sent a crow off to Camilla Dronach and stuff like that, like, after we rested before we came here when we were, like, shopping.
Yeah, but it was, that was this morning.
Ugh.
You get a lot done in a day of Pathfinder.
I mean, I think Nelibet is probably upstairs, if we're being completely honest.
He's
He
out
said
the
that
door.
he went off to, like, check in on people.
Yeah, he was going about the town helping anyone who was injured. So he shouldn't be hard to find.
Yeah, I say we just take it. Like, we don't have to leave the whole thing.
Just take
like,
him back to
up.
the entrance.
Yeah, make sure that we don't send him go that way, and then he runs into more Grey Gardeners.
So
Do you even know what they wanted with you? Were they planning to use you as a sacrifice for something?
I think they suspected that I knew the interlopers in town.
Ah, our fault then.
Well,
They were right.
you were just helping.
For the record, there was a giant death monster that came out of the final blades, and probably a lot of Galt is dead right now. And there's also actually a giant worm that they're trying to resurrect that will probably kill even more people.
It's dead?
No.
The giant death monster is.
Oh no.
Also, your shop has been destroyed.
Oh,
But we did intend to give you some money.
That was the Grey Gardeners.
It was.
Who are, by the way, a cult.
Oh no.
But I've been staying in the basement still, so it's safe-ish.
So not the whole shop is not burned down?
The
I don't think
good
so.
bits are pretty messed up.
Well,
We haven't been there in a while, also.
We did try to contact you, but you never responded. I guess it makes sense because you were in this thing.
So
but
this is all your fault.
Yeah, this is...
oh, this is all very depressing.
Really, you were quite reckless with this.
why could he not get my message in there? Because of this trap? Or
You don't know.
Watson, why couldn't he receive my message earlier?
Watson doesn't know.
I
Kenzin,
believe
did you get the message or did you just not respond?
He was
did
probably
not hear
unconscious.
Anything.
I don't
I've
like
been
that.
in and out of consciousness.
Probably unconscious.
Let's get you out of here.
So for the sake of just like story expediency, are you just going to go out the exact way you came in, leave from the top of the
Yeah, I think
stairs,
so.
whoop, come back down
Unless
to exactly
we come
where
back
you are?
down the other side of the stairs.
So that's what I want to know. Are you, for the sake of sort of figuring out where you go next, do you come back to exactly where you are, or do you want to come down the other set of stairs?
Well, wasn't there more stuff in the room?
we
before
went
this?
to like the center room, and there was
Right.
another side of it that we
Yeah.
didn't go explore.
I think we should look at the other side of that
Okay.
room.
You're
Yes.
just going to punch
So
through
come
this
back
big
down.
circular room?
Not quite
No,
yet.
that is not the plan.
Now, what
I do
will
think that
We're
Val would tell
completionists, James.
Kenzin.
Sure. Now, I do want to note one thing, Trent, for some of your magic. Sorry to interrupt, Jane. You feel like this trap will reset magically.
So I don't get the 1 week.
Don't you entice us to go in this room, James?
You don't
can-
know which is stronger, the magic of this trap or of your spell.
Perhaps we should at least check the doors. So if
Now,
we
Why-
need to
I'm
unlock
not
them.
trying to railroad you into doing anything,
Yeah,
because you at least know what you're getting into now.
right.
And you know that if you walk around the outside of this room,
It's
not
probably
gonna-
fine.
that's what you figured
Okay,
out, Val.
let's walk around the outside of this room quickly.
But what I mean is, like, even if the trap resets, the outside of the room seems to be safe. So
Oh, okay.
you do have what you
Okay.
feel like is a narrative solution to at least navigating this room, even
And-
if you come back here and it's
And
reset.
even should the darkness return, we
Yes.
could walk around the outside
Yeah.
and
Yep.
feel for a door and go through it.
Mhm.
well, and you could full on
Okay.
see it, and
Right.
you could
Okay.
guide the
Right,
group
right.
Trent. So
Okay.
All right.
I
That's
wanted
what the
to
rope is for.
establish what's where before you what your
So we're
knowledge
definitely
is.
going to have to come back to this terrible room at some point.
Let's
maybe.
finish checking the other.
Should we check
Area
the
now.
other doors?
Yes.
So you are at the northwest. So like I said, there's 4 doors in this room. You're at the northwest door. There's one at each northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest.
So wait, we're assuming that we took Kenzin up and
Yeah.
now we're back in the main room?
You're back exactly where you were.
Oh, in this
Yep,
circular room.
back at the edge of the circular room. Back
Okay,
at the
Kenzin is
northwest
now-
door.
Gone.
Kenzin got up, saw the wreckage, and was like, "Oh no, it looks bad here.
I think she
must
would
help
tell
the
him-
town."
She would tell him to go find Nelibet.
Yeah, so he'll go off to find Nelibet and help treat people because he's one of the best healers in Galt.
We should give him some of that money for sure, in case we never see him.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll give him some money when
Yeah,
we drop
we'll
him
take
off.
care of that off air.
We should, before we try and open any of these doors, we should check them for individual traps as well.
Okay. Let's do some quick rolls. Who's the one doing checking for traps?
I want to check for magic also, obviously.
Probably
I can do
Val.
it. I can check for traps with
Yeah,
perception.
What's the range in your detect magic, Trent?
So I believe it's 30 feet.
Okay. So you are going to detect. You're going to detect a
Yeah.
little bit of magic coming from an odd, not from behind any of the doors, like not in the hallways, but you're getting magic in the southwest direction, as well as in the southeast. It's kind of at the edge range. It's one of those where like you suspect the tunnel leads to a room, and maybe there's something in or off that room that has the magic.
Okay.
But you're able to detect magic when you go to the southwest door and the southeast door. And you don't know that the northeast wouldn't. It's just that like, hey, that there's a little bit of like a 15, 20 foot tunnel from these rooms to, at least the way you came was like a tunnel of 15, 20 feet to get to this circular trap room.
And what school of magic would that be?
Of course you're going to ask that. I'll look that up. But what are you all thinking? Where are you going?
Do we want to make
Divination in the southwest and in the southeast. Go ahead and talk while I look up these
sure? Do you want to at least
spells.
have them unlocked so when we come back through, we don't have to try and do that in the dark?
Probably a good
might as
idea.
well.
So the doors don't appear to be locked here,
Okay.
for better or worse.
Go ahead and open them then.
I mean, do we not want to go back and
Oh yes,
check the
absolutely.
previous rooms first?
Absolutely.
You know what I want to have? You can't. That fox can't travel people with his dimension door
I
because
can't.
otherwise we could just take literally every enemy and dimension door them onto these platforms
That's a good point.
and then just hop off.
I wish I could do that.
So Southwest Trent, level 18 divination. To the southeast, God. I don't even know what to call this.
Bad.
Something weird and strange magically. Like that's what I
I'm gonna
fucking
write
got
this on
for
the
you.
map.
That's to the south.
Southeast.
East.
Southwest divination level 18.
So put big question mark there.
So where are you all going? Are you taking one of the tunnels off of this, or are you backtracking off of the worm imprint and the like living space made out of tombs?
Yes.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
Second one.
So you go back down the tunnel from which you came into the giant room that has like the worm imprint in the ground that had the banshee room attached to it. You go south through what were like sarcophaguses, catacombs sort of things, and you see what looks like were more of those rooms with doors leading more to the south. You listen at those. Is everyone listening, or is it just the usual folks listening?
Detecting magic.
I'll listen.
Well, listen,
Okay,
Yep.
you're getting some magic in here. Trent, Drosharis, you don't hear anything. Val, you don't hear anything. Trent, I'm checking on magic for you because I have to check every item in a room to be like, I don't know who's any of them have magic.
I get the highest level magic
Yeah.
item.
And so, what are you all thinking about as you're like, wow, this place is really great. I'm sure it's fine. Trent, you don't pick up. Yeah, Jesus fuck. I guess a 20th level
great.
necromancy.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, we should definitely walk in here without any worries or cares.
Why don't you lead us?
Shit.
There is a quite powerful necromantic object or thing in here.
it's
And
a-
that's in the other.
It's back this
It's
way.
back in the main room.
So you
Back
go
to the
back
east.
to the room with the worm imprint, and then you
Gotcha.
went south into the connected sarcophagi catacomb rooms, and then you're trying to go south further from there. You suspect this is probably the direction the other set of stairs led to. Is sort of
And
over
wasn't
in
that
this
what
area.
that Nelibit said? That set of stairs looks dangerous. You should go to the north
Yeah.
set of stairs.
Nilbit specifically said, "I went down them, encountered some dangerous shit. Don't go there."
Oh, he
Yeah.
said don't go to this place that we're now like, hey, we should go over here.
Well,
Yeah.
he said like it's dangerous. I went down
More
there, and there's
dangerous.
dangerous stuff here.
We have not shied away from a don't do this thing yet.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, Nelibit's kind of a pansy.
So
fighting necromancy seems like something that at least Drosharis would be interested in. I'm assuming you as well, Watson.
Yes, oh yes. Get rid of this foul magic.
If we do it, we may as well do it all the way.
Val and Fox, run upstairs and go around the stairs. We'll flank these mother effers.
We should prepare for some seriously fucked up shit in this room, though.
Yes.
So are you?
I mean, the last time you detected necromancy somewhere, we just got a cool potion.
It was a healing potion, yeah.
True.
So is anyone going? Is anyone backtracking to go up the stairs and come down? Or are you serious about that, or are you going to just try to go through these?
I
one of these
was
I'm
four
kind of
doors
down.
yourself?
Yeah. I'll go.
Sure.
Yeah,
Fox and I will go.
We're backtracking, right? Is what we're
The
saying.
whole, well, only some of the group or the whole group?
Fox
They're
and
going
I
up
will
the
go
stairs and
to.
going down the other side, and we're going through.
Okay.
Okay,
gonna
that'll
pin
take
them.
about half an hour to go all the way up. You're deep underground
Oh.
and then back down.
But there was like 12 stairs in that drawing you made.
And those are the final end of stairs. You're hundreds of feet down from the top of the citadel, so they'd be going
Wow.
all the way up and going all the way. No, that's totally fine. I just want to put that in play. You
That's
also
fine.
I'm
for that.
down. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do it.
Give me one person from each group to give me warfare lore here for timing. Fox, do you have warfare lore?
I do.
Okay, so Fox and Dro, I want each of you to give me a warfare lore check to time this, because that much long of a time between leaving and striking without at 2:32 we attack. I think for this, pretty simple here. I'm not talking difficult. DC 30.
30.
Yeah, to time this.
That's what I got.
That's what I got.
Oh, wow.
So the two of you barely
so
have this
bizarre.
coordinated.
So who's going with whom?
And so
I'll go with Fox
You and I are going together, Watson.
Okay.
Sounds
okay.
good.
So
because I think the other two would let me die.
Fox and Val, you come down the stairs, arrive in a
Watson
teeny
would just be next
little
to me.
landing room with a single empty chair. It's like a guard should be placed there. And there's a wooden shield on the wall with a blood-stained mask and some sort of blocky writing on it. While that's happening, let's cut over to Watson and Drosharis. There's 4 doors to the south. Westmost, kind of west, kind of east, eastmost. Which door are you coming through? The ones with the most easy access are eastmost and westmost. The 2 middle doors have sarcophagi in front of them, but you can move them.
Eastmost?
Sure.
Okay, so we're doing stealth? Well, you have Watson. Are we doing stealth, or you just opening the door and walking in?
I guess what I would ask is if I used warfare lore, part of me would want to wait until they start coming down the stairs.
Okay, so that was your plan. I'll just sort of retroactive. The plan
Yeah.
was
So
That
that
makes
when
sense.
they're like, and they run towards the stairs, we step out
perfect.
and we're behind them.
So you're basically waiting to hear them,
Yes.
and then you'll come in from the back. That is more sensible. It's a little less shock and awe, but that at least contingent on actually what is exactly happening. So
I'm teaching Watson how to be stealthy.
I don't know what
Fox
that
and
means.
Val, you walk down, you see this odd bloodstained mask and blocky writing.
Yeah, I want
in
to see
this
what
one
the
room.
writing says.
You get a little bit closer, and you can see the words, "Your mask is your shield," written above the mask, and below it, "Exposure means elimination." And as you take a step closer to look at this, and now there is a door to the east that would lead, you think, in the direction of where you're supposed to meet up with Drosharis and Watson. You realize it isn't a mask at all, but the flayed skin of a somewhat familiar face.
Who?
Tune in next time to find out.
Oh my god. The Live to Die podcast is a production of Live to Die Gaming. Follow us on social media at Live to Die Pod. Leave a review and tune in next week for more. If you like the amazing background audio and music, all that credit goes to Syrinscape. Make sure you check them out at Syrinscape.com.